Oh man, so we got Phantom up 6.72%. Yes, breaking through $1.50 whilst Bitcoin is having a down day, down 1.5%. Is Bitcoin heading back towards that level we've been talking about, which is at the $45,000 mark? Where is Phantom going? If Bitcoin goes to 45,000, where will Phantom be going? These are all the questions you guys have been asking. I'm here to answer them. I'm going to show you the key levels in both the Bitcoin and Phantom charts. We're going to look at a few news events that have just happened, which are moving the markets, and a whole lot more. So if you appreciate that, hit up the like button, subscribe, sit back, and don't forget these videos are brought to you by our very own course member live streams. Yes, we have one today in a few hours, the next 4 hours, where our course member lives will be jumping onto a stream. They'll be able to ask me all questions, critique portfolios, look at tokenomics of coins, do some research together, and a whole bunch more. So consider clicking the link in the Discord below to find out how to get set up on our member only live streams. But here on Bitcoin, red day for Bitcoin, down 1.5% roughly today. And is this a surprise? We were talking about this move to the upside, and we know that normally when you get these moves to the upside, it's like a sprint, right? The runner's been sprinting and he or she needs to call off. And so we had this move here. But we've seen this coming down, and this is obviously the typical Bart Simpson shape, as some people like to call it, because you get this hairline. But also, this could have broke to the upside, right? Now, how do we know if this was going to break to the upside or downside? Because to the upside is just a bullish continuation pattern. That happens as well, right? We had that here. We had a move, we moved to the sideways, and then we broke up. The difference here, however, was the weakening of the higher highs. We weren't able to create them. You see this? Your first high was there, and then it was a lower high. Then more exhaustion, and a little more, and a little more before eventually you curl over and create the Bart Simpson pattern. So, what are our price targets? How low can this go? Well, I'm looking at the retest at the blue line here, which is the 45,000. That is where the move kicked off, and I would be looking for a retest at this level. And long term, super healthy and bullish for Bitcoin. There is no issues with this whatsoever, so I have no issues. I mentioned in yesterday's video, we have plenty of room to retrace here on Bitcoin in a healthy manner, and I much rather that than just going straight to the moon, because what goes up quickly must come down quickly. Okay, so this is perfectly healthy, no issues whatsoever. Now, what's happening with Phantom? We've literally got Phantom running as we speak. You can see here on the hourly candles, these are massive moves to the upside. I mean, it's just had a crazy day. I mean, just at 3 o'clock my time, we were as low as 141, and we've been as high as 153-ish. Crazy day on Phantom. We're going to cover off a few news events that may be causing that, and the first one being this new 335 million Phantom incentive program with Gitcoin grants. This is huge, guys. We've been talking about this for a while now. If you've been watching my Phantom videos, we know that the best layer 1 solutions are going to be those that attract the best dApp developers. Yeah, we've got a whole bunch of layer 1 solutions all claiming to be fast, to be scalable, to be decentralized, right? They all have latest technology, whether you're looking at Solana, Algorand, Cardano, you're looking at Phantom, you're looking at all these different layer 1 blockchains, Avalanche, and they all need to compete for dApp developers. This is why raising this fund here to get the dApp developers to come and build on the ecosystem is so important. And you can see here, these are their objectives. Better support a wider variety of projects. Remember when we were speaking, Phantom is known as the DeFi chain. They're very strong in the DeFi space. But what they haven't been able to do is capitalize on other verticals, right? NFTs, like they said, and they list them all here. Games, NFT, education, critical infrastructure. Now they're starting to focus on that. Michael Kong made that clue, gave us a clue in the interviews, which we're covering off on this channel, and it's good to see they're now delivering on that really powerful move. They also want to empower the Phantom community. They want to support small teams that are just getting started. This is really good. They're providing up to 3 million Phantom in the first round, and then match funding of 1.5 million Phantom in each round for these projects. So really good system here, and definitely this is going to help them attract some really exciting projects. If you imagine from this fund, if Phantom can attract a few good projects that everybody's talking about on the Phantom blockchain, that could be the start of the catalyst for this to really start progressing to the upside on Phantom. So really good news there from Phantom. Now, how are the wider markets doing? We always need to take a quick look at the wider markets, and we can see that the major indices are slightly down today. Okay, you got the Dow Jones down 0.37, 0.3 in the S&P down, and Nasdaq 0.4. Nothing crazy, nothing super bad, but in essence, we got the 31st of the month. This is the end of a quarter, and this wraps up the first losing quarter for the stock market in 2 years. Okay, so this was, look, it was a volatile quarter, And we came into this quarter knowing it was going to be a difficult quarter for crypto because the stock markets were very, very volatile. VIX was high. You had the Russia-Ukraine war. You had all these interest rate fears and inflation fears from Jerome Powell. But we've come a long way. From March the 16th, you've seen how the 2 weeks have been. We've come a long way on all major indices, and confidence is back. And that is why we're seeing Bitcoin rally to the upside. Now, let's start zooming out a little bit. Let's look at the daily chart here on Bitcoin. What are we seeing happen? Well, obviously, we've managed to break out from the top of our wedge. Now, it's very healthy when you break out from a pattern like this to get a retest, okay, and before heading higher. So like I said, perfectly happy for this to come to 45,000, but it can even come down to 44.5 because that was the neckline here from the pattern which we broke out. That is exactly where we got rejected once, twice, thrice, and we broke out on the fourth time of trying. Okay, so no issues if we want to come down to test that neckline. In fact, that's a nice pullback entry point for anybody who wants to trade that to the upside. Our technical target still remains at 52,700. The macro environment still looks very strong, and all the indicators show that we can continue to have a movement to the upside. We do get the non-farm payrolls tomorrow, which is going to be really important to find out if the market is starting to remain strong, right? Because remember, Jerome Powell's view on whether he'll do a 0.25% interest rate hike or that dreaded 0.5% interest rate hike, which we'll come on to in a second, will be based on whether the labor market is strong. Now, he'll get a CPI reading, but the labor market reading we're going to get tomorrow from the non-farm payrolls are going to be very important, okay? But it's a double-edged sword. If you get a weak figure, oh no, this is bad, we're in stagflation. If you get a strong jobs figure, then it's like, oh no, we're going to get, a double rate hike from Jerome Powell. Okay, so be very careful tomorrow because we may get a further retracement to the downside when that news comes out. But here's the interesting thing, and we've monitored this again. 70% of market participants based on the CME futures have already priced in a double rate hike. A double rate hike already. So put that into perspective, guys. They've already priced it in. We've been covering this for at least a couple of days now. We've been saying, hang on, they're saying to Jerome Powell, bring it. We don't care if you do a double rate hike. So this is really interesting. We're getting this positive market sentiment and rallies to the upside. In other words, we've got Bitcoin at 46,000 with a double rate hike priced in for May. Very strong move, very strong indications from the economy right now. So really positive things to look at. Now, let's also bring out our EMA ribbon to do a little bit more analysis on here. And you can see we've got plenty of room, okay? This is really good extension to the upside. And that is why a 45, even a 44.5, it doesn't even get you touching your EMA ribbon or just shaving it by the time it gets here, okay? You could even retrace down to 43,000 flat, and I wouldn't be too concerned on this move, right? Remember, as long as you create these higher highs, you've got a little bit of a pivot point around 40,500, and then your next pivot point is this low here. So as long as we maintain this trend to the upside, we are good if we form anything which looks like that, and then we can continue to move to the upside here on Bitcoin. If we bring out the VPVR, you will see that at this moment, you've got a flat area in here, which explains why we're able to fall to the downside. This is a thinly traded area we're in right now in this section here. Okay, and that's why you can see that we need to fall all the way down to 45, 44.5. Well, that's where the support comes in. That's where the volume comes in for us to get another push to the upside and then break this pivot point where we got rejected from, which was about 48,300 at the peak of this candle here. Okay, so that's what we're looking at for on Bitcoin. What are we looking out for on Phantom? Because remember I said that the worrying sign on Phantom was that we were still creating our bear flag. And unfortunately, we are. And you can see this green candle we're seeing today is trying to get us back into this bear flag pattern. But you can also see that the EMA ribbon will continue to weigh on us and continue to try to do this, right? Which is your continuation move to the downside. And that's exactly what played out here. Bear flag, move to the downside, further made worse by the fact that you've got your EMA ribbon pushing you to the downside. And a similar thing looks like it's trying to play out here. But the difference is huge. And the difference is when this happened here, markets were not happy. You had the Russia-Ukraine war, you had a whole bunch of issues going on. Then here you had your Andre Cronje issue pushing us to the downside. Now the market and the sentiment is on our side. So with a bit of a tailwind from Bitcoin helping us, we want to see us flip our EMA ribbon and start working through these levels quickly to prevent momentum to the downside, okay? The struggling thing here for Phantom, the difficult thing is we've got a little bit of a way to go. We're sitting at 148 now as I'm talking, round it up to 149. 165 is our next level of support. Very important we get to 165. But then after there, the next pivot point is all the way up at 208, right? This is the pocket we want to get into here. So a lot of work for FANTOM to do before we start feeling a little bit comfortable. If I bring out the VPVR on FANTOM as well, again, heavily contested area. A lot of volume comes in here, so we need to battle this level out. There will be some strength needed here from this level, and hopefully this can act as support, and the next run can move a lot quicker. FANTOM moves a lot quicker in this section than it does in this section. It holds up here well, but in this section we can move quite quickly. So if we can get above our EMA ribbon, I suspect from 165 to 194 can happen very quickly, and then we need to hold $2 to start moving to the upside. Now, to the downside, if Bitcoin wants to go down to 45 and get a full retest, or even lower to 44.5, then we have to look at some lower targets, and FANTOM could need to pop down to its lower levels. And what we're looking at is more around the 134 mark around here for FANTOM. So that's our first level here. If Bitcoin wants to go to 45, that's the first level we're going to look at here on FANTOM. If things happen a bit more drastically on Bitcoin, we may need to come down to 126. Either way, nice pullbacks and good entry points for anybody that's looking to dollar cost average for the longer term basis. These are nice little pullbacks. We don't chase on this pattern, we chase on the pullbacks and then we go. Okay, that is the key thing. Okay, so all that covered off on FANTOM. Let's also look at the Fear and Greed Index, which is now sitting at 52. So now a good couple of days in a row where the market is pretty chillaxed, feeling good, feeling happy. More people are talking about crypto, more people feeling positive because their portfolios are green for the first time for some of them for 3-4 months, which always creates an extra buzz in their step. People start buying. And the one thing we need to do is remain calm. If you're in my community, if you're definitely one of my course members, we've been speaking about this a lot, and we're going to be talking about it again tonight. We don't want to be chasing green candles. We need to be patient. We need to wait for the pullbacks. When Bitcoin's coming to us, then we can top up on some of our favorite altcoins. When things are running and looking super green, like for example, Solana today, having a decent green day, we don't want to be chasing those. I mean, FANTOM is leading the pack right now today, up 7% versus BTC. If you look at the pairing versus BTC, FANTOM is making a huge move versus Bitcoin. I mean, if I put this on the hourly chart, you'll be able to see how nice a move FANTOM is getting versus BTC. This is versus BTC, huge volume coming in, and just goes to show the strength of FANTOM right now, given the launch of their fund, really helping. Now, the other thing which is weighing on markets, and in particular Bitcoin, which we have to keep an eye on, is the EU vote. Now, I think they've just come to a conclusion at the time of recording this video. It looks like the vote is going to go through. Now, if you're not sure what I'm talking about, head over into Twitter, go to my profile, click onto my profile, and you will see a tweet thread explaining, just after the China one, well, I posted before the one, this one, the EU vote is today. Go read this thread. You'll understand exactly what it means. Even if you're not in the EU, this is important. And you know how you know this is important? Even Brian Armstrong, who's based in the US and CEO of Coinbase, posted how important this is, because this will set a precedent for other commissions around the world, other world leaders to say, oh wait, EU did it, why can't we do it too? So this is a big step towards really restricting people's privacy and what they're able to do within crypto. So definitely go check that out and read this thread. Spend a lot of time pulling that thread together. So do go check that out. Let us know what you think. Right, so there you go, guys. There is an update on what we're seeing in the charts for Bitcoin and FANTOM. Really important moments. Again, if Bitcoin wants to come down to 45, that's fine. Come collect some support and then head higher. Let the altcoins kind of pull back and move. Very interesting that FANTOM is running completely anti-Bitcoin today, up 7% against Bitcoin. And just to wrap things up, actually, guys, I think I was going to give you one more piece of golden nuggets for those that stayed around. Look at this. We are in a clear Bitcoin season still, for those who aren't sure. We're in a Bitcoin season. Bitcoin is still dominating. The dominance is starting to move one direction. And this is interesting, okay? You can see here we just crossed the Bitcoin season line and we're in a Bitcoin season. But the other thing to note here on FANTOM is FANTOM was one of those which were in the green. In other words, green meant that they had a better 90 days. They outperformed Bitcoin. With Bitcoin currently over the last 90 days has been up 3.7%. But FANTOM is down 32% in the same period. So FANTOM is a huge underperformer versus Bitcoin. But for us, that means there is a huge opportunity for FANTOM because it's lagged behind. A lot of its other coins have had their runs in relation to Bitcoin. FANTOM has lagged behind because of the artificial issue with the whole Andre Cronje issue, leading to a false downward pressure on the price. So that's going to bounce back. FANTOM is definitely something that I think will outperform Bitcoin in the next set of runs to the upside. And it's definitely, you can see it's had a lot of price pressure to the downside, and it's ready to rebound. Remember the analogy of the elastic band I use? The more you pull it back, the faster it's going to come out of the blocks. Really important that we remember that. So there you go, guys. If you appreciate my perspective, smash up the likes and subscribe. As always, if you want to become a course member live, then it's $30 a month. Link in the pinned comment below will take you to our Discord server. Head into there, message me or ask people in the community, how do I get signed up? You'll be able to get signed up and join our course member live streams. We've got one happening in 4 hours. So if you want to get yourself set up, jump into the course member live streams, ask me questions on your portfolios, or your favorite tokens, or some research, or some macroeconomics, or how I chart, or the indicators I use. That is the perfect time for all of that. Thanks for watching, guys. I'm going to link up the video at the end here to the Phantom Tokenomics new video I made. If you haven't watched that, go watch that. It's going to keep you feeling bullish about Phantom, and it also addresses one of the concerns I had around the Phantom Tokenomics, which many people aren't talking about. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you in the next one.